Wasn't the same though for Chelsea, was it, Jodie? They showed a lot of fight in the dying minutes, but they just couldn't find a way through, could they?
Do you know what? I think for large spells tonight, they went toe-to-toe with Bayern, and they've only really got themselves to blame why they're on the losing side. And I think that's what will disappoint Maresca the most, because I actually think they're set up, and I think playing Cole Palmer off the right was a good call. I think Reece James was a good call in the middle. I felt it was a very even game in the first half, but the quality of Harry Kane and, as I said, the defensive mistake to give that all crucial third goal, and there was obviously a penalty where Caicedo could do better. But Gusto giving the ball away for the third goal, I think, was really pivotal, and we didn't really get going again in the second half until right towards the end. And obviously to have a goal that was chalked off for just being offside was slightly unlucky. But Bayern were certainly the better team in the second half, but for large spells, as I said, we went toe-to-toe, and there was big periods of that performance that were a lot better than, I think, Palace, maybe the luck that we got against Fulham, or even how unlucky we were against Brentford. There's huge positives to take from that, and I think the experience of the Club World Cup played into how brave we were tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so, because as I said, we went toe-to-toe, and individual mistakes you can never account for as a manager or a coach, and I think the setup was good. It just that those little bits of quality, and I have to say, and it does annoy me sometimes that people write off Harry Kane just because he plays in a different league and he's scoring all these goals.
It's easy, they say.
Yeah, exactly. Well, tonight he's played against one of the best teams in the Premier League, and he was brilliant. Him and Elise were the two best players on the pitch, and Harry Kane reminded me a lot of his Spurs form tonight, where he was dropping deep and linking up play and picking up some great positions, but could have scored 4 goals. I thought he was first class, and I know people love to write him off because maybe his performances for England haven't been great, but for Bayern he's been absolutely top draw, and he was again tonight.
So it seems as though Chelsea weren't really able to contain him tonight.
No, and I think that's difficult. I think sometimes you have to hold your hands up. As I said, him and Elise were the two best players, and there were moments that people were getting tight. Cucurella was trying to get tight to Elise, and he was just picking off passes or using his skill and using his body like Harry Kane did as well. And as I said, if it wasn't for the gifts of the goals that we give away, I think it was a fairly even game for a good hour. So I think positives to take, but obviously when you're giving top quality opposition gifts for goals like that and penalties, then you're always going to be up against it.
We didn't get to see much of Nicholas Jackson back up against his parent club, did we?
No, I mean, he was on for sort of 5 minutes, and he tried to chip the keeper from about 40 yards, which went maybe 40 yards right and high. But that was about it, yeah. And I think that's probably better for everyone involved.
I mean, how much of a blow is this to Chelsea's hopes in the Champions League in this league phase stage? I mean, it's one game, but, you know, put it into perspective for us.
No, I actually think sometimes you've got to hold your hands up and go, you've gone to the Allianz, you're playing against Bayern, and if you look at the individual mistakes which contributed to the loss, you can, as I said, I think you can take positives in the performance, particularly going forward. I think we're a threat for any team we play against, and certainly with the attacking players that we have on the pitch, whether it be from the start or the ones that are coming off the bench. As I said, I think there's huge positives to take from tonight. And
Liverpool as well, Clinton, will take huge positives from this going forward in the Champions League, won't they?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's made Liverpool favourites. I don't know if Liverpool fans would like to hear that.
The Opta supercomputer.
Yeah. Who's in that Opta supercomputer? I'd love to meet that person one day, because they...
AI.
AI. Oh, say AI. OK. I don't know if they always get it right. They had them favourites last year. They didn't do it. But, no, they were good tonight. They were really good. But you got to credit Atletico Madrid, but they have that never say die attitude. And I'd say you have fantastic players like Van Dijk that can win you the football match.
Right then, Blues faithful, let's dive straight into what happened at the Allianz Arena last night, because there's a lot to unpack from that opening Champions League clash. It wasn't the result we wanted, but there are some massive talking points that every Chelsea fan needs to hear about. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of last night's performance, I need you to do something for me. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button right now. We're bringing you exclusive Chelsea content that you won't find anywhere else, breaking down every match, every tactical decision, and every development at Stamford Bridge. Your support means everything, and it helps us keep delivering the in-depth analysis you deserve as Blues supporters. The scoreline reads 3-1 to Bayern, and on paper, that looks like a proper hammering. But anyone who watched that match knows the story was far more complex than those numbers suggest. For large spells of that encounter, we went toe-to-toe with one of Europe's elite sides, and that's something Enzo Maresca should be proud of, even in defeat. Let's start with what went right, because there were genuine positives to take from this performance. The setup was spot on from Maresca. Playing Cole Palmer off the right was a masterstroke, and having Reece James back in the middle of the park gave us that solidity we've been crying out for. For the first hour of that match, it was genuinely even, and we showed we belong on this stage. Palmer's goal was absolutely sublime, wasn't it? That quick thinking to spot the space, the composure under pressure, and the finish under the crossbar, pure class. What many people don't realise is that Cole Palmer has now been directly involved in 73 goals across his 100 appearances for Chelsea. That's extraordinary consistency, and it proves we've got a genuine superstar on our hands. But here's where it gets frustrating, and this is what will really wind up Maresca when he watches the footage back. We gifted Bayern 2 of their 3 goals through individual errors that simply cannot happen at this level. Trevoh Chalobah's unfortunate own goal after 20 minutes set the tone, but the penalty decision was soft at best. Moises Caicedo could definitely have been stronger in that challenge, but these are the margins at Champions League level. The third goal, though, that's the one that really stings. Malo Gusto giving the ball away in such a dangerous area was absolutely criminal. At this level, against players of the caliber we were facing, you simply cannot afford those moments of sloppiness. It's basic football, and it cost us dearly. Speaking of Bayern's quality, we have to give credit where it's due. The individual brilliance was there for all to see, particularly from their front men. Their movement, their finishing, their ability to punish every mistake. IT9. That's why they're still considered among Europe's elite. We match them for periods, but that's the difference between being competitive and being clinical. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, our defensive shape when under pressure. Yes, we showed fight in those dying minutes. Yes, we created chances, but there were moments where our positioning left too much space for their attacking players to exploit. These are the details that separate good European performances from great ones. The experience of the Club World Cup clearly helped us last night. You could see it in how brave we were, how willing we were to take the game to Bayern, rather than sitting back and hoping for the best. That confidence, that belief that we can compete with anyone, that's invaluable moving forward in this competition. Here's the reality check though. When you're playing against top-quality opposition and you're gifting them goals through individual mistakes, you're always going to be up against it. No manager, no matter how good their tactics, can account for those moments of madness. That's on the players, and they know it. What frustrated many of us watching was how we managed the game in certain moments. We had spells where we were on top, where we could have pressed home our advantage, but we seemed to invite pressure when we should have been controlling the tempo. These are the fine margins that determine success at this level. The positive is that this Bayern side isn't the unstoppable force they once were. They're good, very good, but they're not the Bayern of old. The fact that we created chances, that we made their goalkeeper work, that we never stopped believing, those are encouraging signs for what's to come in this competition. Looking ahead, we've got some massive fixtures coming up in this Champions League campaign. Every point matters in this new format, and we've already seen how competitive this level island. But if we can cut out those individual errors, if we can maintain that bravery while adding the clinical edge we showed in patches, there's no reason we can't make serious progress. The key now is learning from this experience without letting it knock our confidence. We've shown we can compete at this level, we've shown we can create chances against elite opposition, and we've shown we won't be intimidated by anyone. Those are foundations to build on. What matters most is how we respond. Champions League football is about resilience, about bouncing back from setbacks, and about proving you belong among Europe's best. Last night was a learning experience, but it doesn't define our campaign. So there you have it. Blues, a night of mixed emotions, but plenty of reasons to stay optimistic about what's ahead. What did you make of the performance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest Chelsea content. Until next time, keep the blue flag flying high.